Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Welcome back to Narrow Forward.
Oh shit! What?
No way! Hey, did it!
Oh shit!
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Narrow Forward MMA podcast. I'm your host, George, with my co-host here.
Jason.
And today, guys, we have a special one for you. It's been a while since we filmed one of these MMA podcast, YouTube, sessions because, it's been a while. A lot of it's been busy, but also we still wanted to keep focused on the MMA content, though, when we watch it live and everything. That really focuses on that and other content. But because of how craziness and how special this card is and how crazy it's turned out since the birth of the card to now, Jason, we had to talk about it. I mean, originally we were going to do this podcast on, not Volkanovski, Islam versus Charles Oliveira. But it turns out that jackass of a sparring partner in Brazil really fucked all of our shit up. And then, and then Paulo Costa had decided to become a healthy person and get surgery. I'm like, bro, secret juice wasn't enough. I had to get his elbow shit fixed too. But god damn, bro. I mean, at least he was there willing to fight and shit. But it was craziness. But now, Jason, we're here to talk about the new updated main event, right? Oh my god. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev 2 on 10 days notice, bro. 10 days notice. And then obviously Kamaru Usman coming in for a chance at the title, to get a title shot against Hamzat Chimaev. It is straight up craziness. But Jason, bro, we gotta talk about the main event, the big storm in Abu Dhabi, bro. Dude, Islam versus Volk, bro. Jason, I was expecting to talk about this potential matchup maybe in July, or maybe not even July, if we were lucky, like February, March, some shit like that, right? Because of how crazy the lightweight division is in the UFC. But dude, bro, holy crap! Did you think on 10 days notice the beast of Volkanovski would step on and be like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? Let's come in, bro.
Honestly, I think it's more just his willingness to wanting to fight and to get those big fights in. Because, bro, he also had surgery too. Let's not forget that. Yeah. He also had a minor little surgery not that long ago, and he was trying to get a fight in before the end of the year. Yeah, kind of aiming for December, but when this opportunity came up, he just couldn't pass it up, and that's much respect for him to be able to take this fight like this. And the crazy thing is, I'm surprised no one else really. I mean, I don't know what the backstory of how he was the one chosen, because technically the next person, if it wasn't for Charles, should be Justin Gaethje with the BMF belt. Yeah. So I was very shocked to see that, for them to go in that direction. But hey, I'm excited.
I mean, I think, I don't know why Justin wouldn't have taken the opportunity, but I think that you're thinking about what really is going to sell pay-per-views. I think just because they saw what happened with Justin versus Khabib, how it was so quick. They're trying to think about a fight that could sell, really, in such a short notice time. Really well, yeah. Not that Justin Gaethje wouldn't bring the violence, and it'd be a crazy upset, right? Because that would be just another thing for Justin Gaethje to do right now, right? But I just think that you're looking at something that can sell quick, that's great international recognition, and make the most of the Abu Dhabi card, and generate more pay-per-views. Then, bro, Volkanovski was a great solution. But like you said, Jason, my question is, with the hand surgery on one side, or Islam taking the short notice opponent on the other, do you think there's that chance of a narrative of being there an excuse on either fighter's side from them to be like, oh, either if I lost, I have a built-in excuse? I don't think either fighter would do that, but definitely the fans, God knows.
Yeah. Honestly, there shouldn't be an excuse for both fighters because they both agreed to do the fight. They signed the dotted line. But at the end of the day, if anyone should have an excuse, I would lean towards Alexander, only because he is, he wasn't preparing for a fight in any way. Yeah. He was also 100, I think from what I heard, he was 181 pounds. So yeah. It is a less of a cut, but it's still a major cut for him to do in 10 days notice, basically. Right. So if I were to give anyone an excuse, it would have to go for Volkanovski. But at the end of the day, this is not about excuses. They both are signing up to fight each other, and there shouldn't really be any sort of major excuse for both of them. And Islam, at the end of the day, he's taking maybe this might be a little bit controversial here, but I think he's taking a tougher fight against Volkanovski than he is against Charles. I gotta put that out there.
Damn, son.
Just saying.
Damn.
Just say. Look,
if you go on their last performances against Islam, then sure, yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on. They both have already fought Islam, and with those two fights, who did better? Who did better?
Obviously, the one that went the distance, sure, but but again,
So yeah,
I don't know, man. You're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right. I'll say you that for sure. But the thing is, Jason, like you said, right? It's a 10 days notice fight, right? We know that Islam was preparing in a striker with some, again, like maybe not as much grappling, right? But Volkanovski,
yeah,
at best, was expecting December, but probably Topuria in January, right? Literally, as
right,
his fight was getting announced, they're like, scrap the books. Not even within 24 hours, you're Volkanovski versus Islam. First of all, I feel bad for Topuria because if something crazy happens on this fight, his fight's in jeopardy in January regardless, right? I don't think anyone in their mind would let it, because chances are, based on their last fight went, right? Alexander is going to be going through a lot in this fight. At worst, if it goes another distance fight, right? So I don't know about the Topuria fight, to be honest with you, in January, regardless of what happens. But hey, hopefully they find a matchup. Maybe Topuria gets that interim title bout, but guess what? We're not talking about featherweight, right? Against Volkanovski, that'd be sick.
yeah,
But we're not talking about that right now. Not Volkanovski, Holloway, but we're not talking about that right now, right? We're talking about Islam versus Volk, and let's kind of go right in, Jason, because before when we let's revisit their first fight, right? Because I think it's fair that what we can really judge these fighters is really by their last performances each. Volkanovski gets the advantage in that case because his last two opponents were Islam including, and then Yair. So we're gonna have an interesting talk talking about Volk, but really it's gonna be the X factor. I think is Islam, right? Because again, in his last fight, we all expect him to do the wrestling. Doesn't do the wrestling. When he does the wrestling, it was great, but he showed such great striking defense, as well as showing moments where he rocked, Alex as well. I know at the end of the fight, we both thought Alexander Volkanovski did enough, but let's also be honest, bro. That fight was in Australia, crowd going bonkers. I mean, as the audience knows, every time someone does so much as parries a jab or anything, we're gonna go ape shit, and especially with all the hype we're bringing in, fans as well. Like, I feel like during that fight, the reason why I'm saying is because I had a chance to rewatch the same fight, right? Volkanovski versus Islam won. And this time I put the volume all the way down. I didn't listen to any of the audience. I was just focusing on just one fighter, and that was Islam, just to see. Because it was hard because Volkanovski's so good. Every time I just try to focus on Islam, Volk would do something cool. I'm like, oh, damn, Volk did that. I'm like, wait. Focus on Islam. Just focus on his footwork. But because of that, though, I was able to really come to the conclusion, like, okay, Islam basically cleared the first 3 rounds. Round 4 is a toss-up, and round 5 can Volk, but yeah, having revisited that fight, I think Islam did enough during that last fight. That leads me to, kind of really break down what I saw that Islam did great, right? We know I'm going to be honest, bro. Besides, Bobby Green, even then, but in his other opponents, he hasn't had really a crazy killer's row of opponents. Exactly. So it's in these Dagestani guys like Islam, right? And I'm sorry, like Khabib. Same criticism, like up until they got to the title, right? Their opponents were like not as namesake, right? I can think of like Dan Hooker was one of the only Drew Dober, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green. Those are the really big opponents that I remember Islam facing, except Volk, right? Off the top of my head, and then obviously Charles or whatever, right? But before that, those are really the biggest opponents, right? If you guys Volkanovski, Max Holloway 3 times, every featherweight, all that stuff, right? Crazy fight experience. So honestly, in terms of what I saw Islam do in his fight against Volk, half the stuff I saw him do, I didn't expect him to do. He looked like, again, how I view this fight was, to analyze Islam was like, okay, forget that he is from Dagestan, forget he has his last name. Don't even look at his face. That can give you the idea that he's only wrestling, right? That he's going to be dude that's a ground and pounder, right? What I really focused on was some of the technical aspects, and what I saw was Islam does. And what's interesting about this too, because some of the things that Islam did in his fight, I saw Volk use in his fight against Yair. And let me bring that up, right? I saw Islam do a really great about always keeping his hand up because of that one knockout he had. He always kept his hand up, at least one hand up to his chin to protect him at all times, right? He always had whenever. It was great because to see that Islam wasn't always kill hungry for like the takedown. He was always backing up on the back foot, drawing Volkanovski near. So if either it was to force Volkanovski in exchange, a clinch exchange, a scramble, where Islam a lot of times would come out the better man just because he's a bigger dude, more used to the weight class, carrying more weight after rehydration and everything. Like, he's able to get some shots and that would stun Volkanovski a lot easier than I was expecting, right? And to be honest, for every time Volk did touch Islam, it didn't do as much damage as every time Islam touched Volk, from what I saw, right? And another thing I saw, too, was that, like I said, Islam did a great job of, getting his feet always on the outside of Volk's feet to really keeping the momentum going, keeping the movement going, but keeping Volkanovski as stationary as possible. Another thing is because Volk's hands are always down, anticipating the takedowns, Islam would always take advantage of striking up top, right? His jab was doing really good during that fight as well. He would, the thing is, he would force Volkanovski to do leg kicks at the end of every exchange. He would go 3, 4, and 5, and then boom, like a leg kick at the end. But one of the sequences where where Volk did that, Islam caught on, was realizing the pattern, popped him, Volk right in the face and dropped him. And I was like, yo, like, what's interesting is that we have the evolution of these grapplers that are learning striking and are going to go like crazy with it, or either go 0% or 100% when it comes to striking. But we see Islam during this fight really temper out his striking. So some unique striking that I didn't see there. And if I didn't get it, and if I didn't look at his face, know his last name, know where he's from, I thought he was a well-rounded UFC fighter that happened to have great grappling. Not so much, the Dagestani wrestlers as well. In the clinch work too, he was very calm and patient. I mean, that's his bread and butter. But it was great where, like, he was patient with the takedowns, right? And it got to the point where just when Volkanovski was trying to do some little bit extra on the striking, anything that was felt unnecessary in terms of movement, Islam would take advantage of that and initiate clinch exchanges, which is why he took the first 3 rounds. I just went on a little tangent on Islam, Jason. What are your thoughts and just how you see Islam coming to this fight, or some of the things you saw in the last fight?
Honestly, I think some of the things that I noticed from the last fight, it was mostly just, I think Volkanovski had a little bit of fear going into, meaning he didn't really go and try to wrestle him, because like you mentioned, he was a wrestler too. He knew how to wrestle really. Volkanovski knows how to wrestle well too. We've seen it in a lot of his other fights against Holloway and all that.
Yeah.
But when he was fighting Volkanovski, there was a little bit of a fear, and there was a little bit of feeling out process because of how much Islam is. He's such a well-known Dagestani wrestler.
Yeah.
You're not going to go in there and like, oh yeah, I could probably take him down easily. Like, he didn't do that. He was kind of, feeling him out, which most fighters will do that. But it seemed like his game plan, not his game plan, but a game plan of trying to take him down wasn't really something he wanted to do. He was more just testing him on the feet.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of defending whenever Islam was going to take him down.
Yeah.
And he did a decent job of that, but like you said, I would probably agree Islam definitely did enough to win the fight. I know like you said, there was a lot of hype between it being in Perth and Australia and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think Islam definitely did enough, and he didn't really show anything where I was like, oh crap, like damn, this is a Dagestani fighter right here, ground and pound, nothing like that. But he just, I think the fear of fighting someone like that kind of minimized what Volkanovski does and what he's used to doing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you mentioned, Islam did show much improvement on the feet.
Yeah.
We didn't really get a chance to ever see much of him on the feet, except for maybe the Charles fight.
Yeah.
Because most of the time he would take down his opponents and submissions easily.
Yeah.
But this fight, the last fight, we got to really see what Islam can do on the feet. And I think one thing that I really liked about what he was doing was throwing the leg kicks, not the leg kicks, the body kicks.
Yeah, I 100%
He threw body kicks really well. Yeah, well to Volkanovski. And Volkanovski, he didn't block him that well. Like, he was getting hit a lot of those body kicks. And, he didn't throw that many to where it was an effect on him as much.
Yeah.
But it was still something that caused damage and was getting points for him in a way.
I saw some crazy striking from Islam where he was going to even throw some like a leg kick straight up to a head kick to Volkanovski too. Almost caught him. I was like, bro, what is this? This is Muay Thai Islam, bro.
Yeah,
craziness, bro. This is actually wild.
Yeah, no, that you're right. That's something that happened, and surprisingly, he can kick really well too for a Dagestani wrestler. Like, if I'm being honest, Khabib has said so many times, like, Islam is going to be a champ and all this, and we're at the time, me personally, I was like, oh yeah, sure, like, okay, maybe. Yeah. But I see why he said that, because he is definitely more evolved, I think, than even Khabib was in the striking game, I would say.
I 100% agree, and it's funny because both these guys have the same reputation, but I feel like who capitalized it more. You can tell Khabib's whole thing was like, all right, I'm going to throw these things as a way to, like, set this wrestling up, and then boom, it's over, right? Versus, I think,
Right.
like you said, you're correct with Islam during this fight. It was like, bro, he wasn't like, it didn't seem like, again, like I said, if I didn't look at his face, didn't know his name, like, it looked like he was like setting it up as like a typical gameplay, not so much as like Islam a wrestle stand, you know? So.
Right. Right. And then the thing is, he didn't even like. This maybe also just has to show with Volkanovski's skills, but we didn't really see the typical like after the takedown, the typical methods to keep him down. Like maybe that's just Volkanovski practicing his defense that well, but because when you see a Dagestani wrestler, the one thing that I always notice, right, is the leg lock. When they lock the person's legs in, Khabib has done this so many times to people. When you lock those legs, you can't get out. Like you're kind of stuck on the ground, and I didn't really see that. But maybe that's because Volkanovski just practices the defense really well for him to not ever get stuck in that position for a long time. There was times where he had back control, but even then, I guess I think that just shows that Volkanovski has practiced so much on his defense that he just didn't get caught in those easy, back control and the easy rear naked choke. So
I agree, dude. But I think that also helped Islam in that sense because we know that, like you said, that and also because Volkanovski's hands was always anticipating the wrestling, so he had a lower stance. Contrast to his fight against Yair, his hands were straight up. He almost looked like Islam, one hand on that one side always because he knew he was exposed on his left side, right? And it's like I said, bro, because Islam is that we all fear Islam for his wrestling. Volkanovski adjusted by like putting his hands down, but because of that, we saw Islam feel comfortable going up on top, and because, again, I mean, Alexander could only switch his stance and his hand position so many times before Islam starts to catch on and do something, right?
Right.
But again, like it was just a way for it shows that Islam was able to adjust accordingly as well, and realizing that his enemies are anticipating his wrestling, he can start like going nuts on other different techniques. Because in the beginning of that fight with Volkanovski, you see both of them are fading. Volk did a great job of letting you know, hey, if you're coming in, you're coming into some pain in here, right? But then that would just force Islam to feign a little. Would force then Alex to react to the feint a little because he's like he has to react to like Islam touching his feet because he knows that if Islam can reach him, then he could grab him and then it's game over. There's gonna be a lot of that, I think, in this game, this matchup again. It's just a high level game of feinting, especially for that wrestling part of it too. When you get squared in the octagon, bro. But again, like we said before, Islam was able to show that like, hey, like I'm not just a one trick pony. I'm backing it up so that way I can set up counters or draw you in closer for clinch work. And if we're in the clinch, but that's what you were saying before, where Alex had such a great job improving the wrestling parts of it, where it's like, I think that's why towards later rounds, Volkanovski. Arguably 4 and then 5, right? Did a lot better because he now knew what he was hitting Islam. He felt more confident, and then guess what? He can be a little bit more fearless. And I also agree, like you're saying before, that Alex was afraid a little bit, right? But I also think there's the two sides of it because he realized he was doing better than he expected. He would have these crazy reactions where Islam would take him down. It didn't work effectively. He'd be like, "Yeah, all right, yeah," and then boom, Islam would do something again. The difference is that, and it's funny because I think Alex learned his lesson from that in his Yair fight. But during that fight with Islam. I think is it because he saw all the Perth fans, Aussie, all that shit, right? He's in his homeland, taking up that Auckland energy, all that craziness, right? He's just going bananas over there, right? For all the Aussie energy,
right.
He's feeling the hype. He's being more of a showman, and he's like, oh, all right, yeah, and all that. But those things are distracting because the moment he starts to react, guess what? Islam was already at his waist. Hey, look, he's defending. He's showing the crowd like he's okay. He's putting his thumbs up. As soon as he puts that hand up, Islam's dragging his feet down. He's dragging his shit down, like
yeah.
And then, but what's great is that I can transition a little bit over to Alex, right? Alex did a great job in his fight with Yair. Every time, bro, God knows when Yair throws a leg kick, that shit's meant to kick your head off, right? And during that first round, right, Yair was throwing some crazy leg kicks already, and Volk was just out so crisp, kept his hands up butter, and then with those big movements, Yair needs a lot of space to do that. He's an expert in those crazy kicks in those small spaces, right? But regardless, you still need space to do that. Volkanovski was capitalizing. We saw him in that ground and pound against Yair as well, claiming that space, and also not giving Yair a break like he did with Islam as well, because those wrestling exchanges again, if you're Volk, you're getting kind of not scared, but this is all you've been training for. But there's that, that back of your mind, like, oh, I gotta make sure he's not here, or here in this hand position. I gotta focus on getting making sure I'm secured. But he's killing time when he's trying to defend himself like that, right? And that just gives someone like Islam more time and more options and more ground and pound control, right? I mean, you can get lucky where like you can get someone even if someone like Islam does get back control on Alex again, right? You saw Alex will keep busy during that point, but even then, I don't know, like when you're judging the fight and you only see Islam taking control the whole time, okay, sure, but it's. I don't know. You already have,
dominant
position for a good amount of time. Yeah, you can get points from hitting the back of his head so much or whatever, but it doesn't make a difference when you have so much ground control to neutralize it for most of the rounds too. So I don't know, man. Like that's the thing though with Volkanovski showed such an improvement from that fight, and then because bro, he had to fight Yair Rodriguez. You go from I got trained from going up to the ground to I gotta fight a homie that's from an action movie who's kicking people's heads up, bro. This homie literally Rock Lee, literally the Mexican Rock Lee right here, bro. Yair, dude, Yair, bro, out here kicking to kill people, bro. And that's the kind of fight that Volkanovski had. Also, Volkanovski was a shorter opponent to Yair. Yair didn't have to lift his leg that high to kick him in the head. You know what I mean?
I know.
The point being, you don't have to kick him that high to kick someone like Volkanovski, which means he can be less restrained in terms of conserving power, just shooting that shit, right? That front kick where his stomach would normal fight, Alex's chest or chin could be there too. So in reality, bro, Yair first style had the advantage, and Volk still made it look easy for him in that fight too, right? Like he said, he took lessons from Islam, keeping that guard up. He was constantly switching stances. He literally did not give Yair any of the space. He honestly, Volkanovski looked a lot like Islam in that fight against Yair in that sense, right? I mean, look, he still had that power. He wasn't afraid, but it shows that that's why I don't want to count Volkanovski out just yet, even though with the 10 days, the surgery, all that, just because bro, if he can improve from that one fight and just dominate someone like Yair, who he thought that was going to be his toughest challenge yet, What could possibly happen next? I don't know, Jason. What are your thoughts, bro?
I think honestly, we absolutely cannot count out Volkanovski in this fight, and the reason for that is because some of the things you've mentioned. He literally went from fighting Islam to fighting Yair, and used basically Islam's techniques on Yair.
Yeah,
took him down, ground and pound. Made his face look like a freaking bloody tomato.
Yeah.
It was not pretty to see Yair's face after that. He was getting elbows, all of it.
Yeah.
That's literally Volkanovski was doing what Islam should have done to Volkanovski almost in a way.
Right.
From going from that to fighting Islam again after getting that confidence back of knowing what Islam's like, feeling his power. I think we will see a different Volkanovski this time around. I don't expect him to have any sort of tendencies of being nervous to go forward or to maybe even get a takedown of his own. Because let's not forget, this could be because Islam was tired, but in that 5th round, Volkanovski got him on the ground and was on top.
Yeah.
And was ground and pounding in that 5th round.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to mention too. How does Islam really have enough of a gas tank to last 5 rounds? Because we kind of saw what happened in that 5th round, and Volkanovski has so much experience in 5-round fights.
But here's the thing, Jason.
At the same time, they both...
No, go for it. Finish your say. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, at the same time, they both have also mentioned that they don't want the fight to last 5 rounds, and they want to finish each other. So
fair. But here's the thing I want to point out, Jason. In terms of how Islam's cardio looked in that last fight. Remember, it was in Perth. With how the pay-per-view set up, his rehydration was not even a full day, if I remember correctly. Okay. Versus, I think, now in Abu Dhabi, I think he has way more time. So both these fighters will have enough time to really fill out that weight again and definitely come in there like they say they're 155 but probably 200. You know what I mean? Like at least one of the fighters, right? Okay. But I think that I think that again, because we heard Volkanovski coming in saying he's flying in when he got the call at least 180. Yeah. And he's again saying, thank God it's a 50 fight, not a 45 fight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, holy shit, bro. Yeah. Holy shit. But like, but again, 10 days notice. Oh my, and you got to train. Jesus Christ. Again, I don't know. I feel like if anyone's going to get a cardio hit, it's going to be Volk just because, like, he's coming off of... Again, this is... he's recovering from surgery. You're going to gain some weight just because, you know, you're taking medications, all that. Again, I'm not speaking to how Volk is. I'm just guessing, right? But again, you're getting surgery. You're probably eating a lot because you're not supposed to be fighting or training for a little bit. You may be in and out of the gym. I was saying Volk isn't active, but I'm pretty sure he was in the U.S. for a little bit before he got that call. He's doing tours and stuff. He wasn't, I don't think, in the fight an active fighter. No, because he's an active fighter. I mean more so that he wasn't expecting this to happen, right? Versus a full training camp. That's obvious. But I'm saying is to mentally prepare to go into a championship fight and a rematch. Also, pay-per-view main event. Enemy territory. Oh, by the way, 10 days notice post-surgery. I wasn't planning on it, but fuck it, I'm a savage. Like, again, I feel like, yeah, just because Volk is a savage, that's why I want him to win. You know, like, it'd be crazy for him double champ status. But, again, you have someone in Islam who's already was preparing for fight-ready shape, and plus for the rehydration clause. Because, remember, Islam is the native in the weight class, right? He may have to cut more weight, but he'll rehydrate more as well. Volk, I mean, like, he's not cutting as much weight, which is an advantage, but he wasn't cutting as much weight last time. Sure, he's more fearless this time, which that is definitely going to be a huge plus. Because if he's confident in that he can survive on the ground, then guess what? Then he's going to be able to then hopefully, you know, push forward that pace a lot more easier. But again, I don't know. I feel like even if he does or doesn't get hurt or anything like that, I just feel that Islam has a lot of power, especially with that rehydration coming in, right? Islam carries that power. We saw in his last fight. Definitely has that ground and pound on his side. He's only improving on his striking. So I don't know, Jason. Like, we've got a pretty, and again, on top of that, by the way, this was made 10 days ago, this fight. So like, this is honestly in terms of fans like us and even like sports analysts and stuff, this is gonna be a fight for the ages, no matter what, just because of the nature of the fight, how significant the fight, but also just because, like, bro, it's Volk and Islam, bro. Like, this is like the biggest names in each other's divisions, bro. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, it is, since it is last minute, those could be a factor in the fight of, you know, the gas tank and stuff like that. But I'm honestly not too worried from Volkanovski's side because he has a lot of experience fighting in these 5-round fights. He's been a champ that's been defending for a while now.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, as long as he doesn't go in there and try to take out all of his energy in one round, like if he's pacing like he normally does, I honestly, this is an opinion, this is not factual or anything, but I really don't think he's going to have a hard time with the gas tank. It'll be interesting to see, and if he does, like, that would actually suck so bad. But
because, dude, if you think about it, right, like, the reason why I'm concerned about the gas tank, it's like, there's one thing if you're like, okay, you're already in camp, you're already training, your body's in that cycle of training. You're already sweating and you're losing weight just because you're in the gym all the time preparing for a fight, and you're already at the point of your, like, peak physical condition before you cut weight, and then you're cutting and you're cutting to that last pound, right? And I'm talking, again, not to say Volkanovski's on rugby and on all that shit, so I'm not saying his body isn't used to getting and packing on the pounds and getting used to it as well as losing it. But I'm just saying Islam is coming in to prepare for Charles, already expecting to cut weight, everything like that, right? Versus, you know, Volk's, you know, like I said, he was having American barbecue, then came back to Australian barbecue, and then he's going to get some Abu Dhabi food now, right? You know what I mean? What I'm saying, like, again, like, I know Volkanovski's trying on the switches and the savage, but again, like, I just think there's a lot of external outside factors that are coming into this, and unexpectedly, you know, again, like, the nature of the, you know, how Volk is coming in, the nature of Islam's coming in, the 10 days notice. I mean, again, well, not to say that isn't going to affect Islam, but he's got a lot more plus on his side. Pseudo home territory.
Right.
Excuse me. Already prepared for again, like, I don't know how, again, the only issue I think for Islam's going to be like, all right, we're going to change how we prep and approach this kind of fight, unless they already had a game plan built in already and they just, you know, have to flip the page and go do it. But again, I just think that since it's on 10 days short notice, it's like, you know, bro, like, the outcome can be for anybody at this point just because of the nature of this fight. Although I think there's going to be there's going to be a lot more on Islam's side going in, I think, but so was the last time going in. But I think that that energy output is going to be something that we have to definitely pay attention for, given that, like, the rehydration is going to be a lot longer. That for sure. That's going to be such a big, I think that's going to be a huge plus for Islam for the later rounds. But again, like, it all depends on that. If Volkanovski can keep his pace consistent and draw out even more of a pace than his last fight across the first 3 to 4 rounds, bro,
Right.
like then guess what? Even I don't think even Islam could potentially stand that. Even if he wrestles on mountains, like you haven't wrestled a Volk like that, a fearless Volk. But again, I also want Volkanovski to, just because he's fearless doesn't mean he should be reckless. I want him to keep his hands up. Because look, he can take it out of the wrestling. Then, bro, keep his hands up. So that way, if there's an opening, they can get to Islam. He doesn't have to raise his hands up to make the strike. He can just pop a jab and set up what he needs to. Like sure.
Yeah.
That's what I think, Jason.
No, I mean, you're for you to say that, you're not wrong at all. I mean, at the end of the day, there are many factors that Volkanovski has to go through just to make this fight because, like you said, 10 days notice. Hasn't been really training for a fight like this. If I'm being honest, I would have probably not taken the fight. I would have just waited
that's why he's so goated for doing it, but also like the risk and as well as the stakes for this too. Wallahi, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm being honest, he probably would have gotten this fight even if he waited a little bit because people wanted this rematch and if he could have gotten a full training camp, this would have been and this is the thing that sucks about this fight is that sure we kind of mentioned at the beginning like there shouldn't really be any major built-in excuses for this fight, but at the end of the day, whichever way this fight goes, there is going to be built-in excuses for either fighter. Right. It's either going to be once Islam's side is going to be well, he didn't take time to prepare for a completely different opponent like Volkanovski.
Yeah.
And then Volkanovski's, I mean, his is a little bit more logical and makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Meaning like his are more valid, I would say.
Yeah.
He 10-day notice, weighed 180 something pounds 10 days ago. Like these are valid excuses. So the thing that sucks is we won't really get to see a true fight where both fighters know who they're fighting in advance, have time to prepare, and that could, like you said, that might play a factor into the fight where we'll see some sort of weakness on either side.
I think it comes down to this, Jason. God forbid something crazy happens. Volkanovski loses the second fight. Do you think he goes back to featherweight? If he gets 5 wins, and Islam's still champ, can you think he can make a third fight against Islam? That's the real question. Because that's where the excuse part comes in, where like, okay, there's no reason for a third fight unless you take consideration for the second fight. Because when you were talking about that, I was like, oh, that actually would be a best way to really describe it. If Volk loses, would you give him the third fight just because of what happened in the second? Again, you have the excuses built in, especially for Volk. You give him, he loses, let's say even crazy like a knockout, God forbid, gets knocked out, but goes on a tear against, all the featherweights again, and then tries to come back to the lightweight. And Islam's still there. Do you give him the third fight? And again, that's the crazy. I mean, Holloway was given the third one. That's what I'm saying.
But see, that one's a little bit different because the first and second fight were very close.
Yeah.
According to everybody that watched those two fights, they both were saying like, "Oh, I could have leaned this way. I could have leaned that way."
Yeah.
But if it's a knockout, that's like you kind of like.
Okay. Let me backtrack it. All right, let's say it's not a knockout. Another fight like last time, maybe even a more closer decision than that. Would you?
Then absolutely, I could see a third
Islam
fight.
gets 2 wins,
absolutely.
And then Islam gets 2 wins, and the third one happens.
Yeah, but you would use the same excuse or same argument as the Holloway fight. Okay. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So
as long as that's the thing. As long as the fans are comfortable, because the excuse part, again. Volk may not say it, but his management, if they're doing the negotiations, I fucking would use it. Like, bro, what do you mean? He gives 10 days notice. He's a savage. He's one of the greatest of all time. Come on, throw us a bone. Like, he already cleaned up the division again. You know what I mean? So, like, that's where I'm coming from. All right, so as long as we respect Volk enough to give him the third one. But again, that also speaks to like how big the excuse is prevalent in there. And that's something we're gonna have to see once the fight really comes down to it. I guess, Jason, we can transition over to, the good shit, our predictions and kind of our paths to victory, bro. I mean, Jason, bro, I'll let you go first on this one, bud, because I'm still kind of a little indecisive. I lean, but like you said, based on this conversation, I can lean either or, So what do you think? How do you think this fight's gonna go? And give me your thoughts, bro.
I mean, so when it comes to paths to victory, the paths to victory for Volkanovski would have to be either just being able to survive, or not survive, but outclass Islam and just win off of decision.
Yeah.
Or ground and pound, finishing the fight like he almost did in the last fight. But at the same time, Islam. On the other hand, Islam has many paths of victory of winning this fight. He can take it on the ground, submit him, ground and pound him, win off of points. He has more ways of winning the fight. And with the issues of last minute and all that, it only really pushes Islam's win even more. Like more chances of him winning the fight.
Right.
And honestly, bro. I love both these fighters so much, and it's hard to just like be like, oh yeah, like I think I'm picking this guy to win. Like it's hard to say, but the passive victories they're kind of not the same, and Islam has more ways of winning, and Volkanovski has a few ways of winning. But at the same time, it could also be a complete shock of, Volkanovski doing something crazy, knocking out Islam, which is possible because he has been knocked out before.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot about that. So that's another option too.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, like I'll give you my pick, I guess.
Go for it.
The problem is, man, I'm gonna have to blame you on this. I'm gonna have to blame you. Because you scared me into thinking about all the factors of what's going on.
Welcome to being an MMA fan, bro. What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? I want to ride. I want to ride, bro. I was riding for Charles. Our whole plan was to ride for Charles, bro.
Look. You kept talking about all this stupid stuff about Volkanovski might not have a gas tank. He weighed this many pounds and he's gonna have to cut a bunch.
I didn't say it could or would happen. I mean, I could. No, I'm saying not that it will happen, but factors. I mean, Volk's a beast, bro. I could be talking shit, bro. I could be talking kangaroo shit because this. Look, you know what I mean?
Either way, you were too pessimistic with what Volkanovski could do, so I'll have to go Islam.
Damn, bro. And I respect that pick. I respect it. Because I think I agree with your pick as well. I'm going to go Islam as well. And you know why, bro? I was going in for Volk, bro. I was like, bro, Volk's, again, I'm not saying Volk doesn't have the ability to do, because I think, honestly, out of everyone, even including lightweights, I think he's the only one that can actually put Islam down, like, for sure. Like, he has the power and ability to do it. But I can't ignore the conditions going into a fight. That being said, if Volk pulls the victory, holy shit oh my God. Like, dude, the narratives would crazy, bro. The change completely. You're talking about the undisputed two gold champ, bro. And that's the thing. This is the second time getting it at gold. And I mean, maybe this could be what it takes for him to get it done. But I just think that Islam's, again, if you're talking about Islam's gas tank, we're talking about a fighter who's going to be able to rehydrate for a longer period of time, right? Meaning his strength that we saw in his last fight against Volkanovski is going to be probably even stronger. He was able to really shock the world with his striking exchanges, right? As well as having such a high striking defense. On that number alone, he has one of the best striking defenses. Yeah. A lot of these Dagestanis and wrestling types do, but again, it's still a fact of the matter. And remember, that fact wouldn't have mattered as much if we saw Islam just crotch sniffing. But I'll respect him enough to tell you that he wasn't crotch sniffing. He was very tactical with his wrestling, bro. So I'll respect his Dagestaniness enough to be. You ain't crotch sniffing, bro. You out here fucking wrestling. Holy shit, bro. Yeah. And it wasn't boring when he was wrestling like that too. He was active on his submission, at least trying to. Again, but like you're saying, Volkanovski, he has that fearless mentality, right? You give him his fearlessness plus an ounce of Nate Diaz in him, bro. I think he could kill anybody in the world, no problem, bro. That's with Volkanovski, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. If he gives that BMF vibes, bro, I swear to God, I think he definitely could do it. But again, just with everything going into it, I know Volk wouldn't let it get to him, but again, like, that rehydration is going to be an issue. I think Volk can bring it to the 5 rounds, but he has to be very sharp with his fearlessness and can't be crazy risky. I feel like Islam's not going to be as forgiving last time if Volkanovski lowers his hands like that, bro. And again, like I'm saying, recovering from that rehydration, albeit he is getting 10 more pounds, but it's not like it's going from like a weight class from like light heavyweight to middleweight. We're going from like lightweight to featherweight, and already those extra pounds at the end already hurt everyone. We're talking about like it's 155, and these again, Volk admittedly going from 180, 30 pounds in 10 days. Jason, you do the math. That's not gonna be easy, bro. He may have the rugby body, 100%, bro. Like that, he body could be. He's a professional fighter. He's conditioned him to. He's been conditioned to do this constantly. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like 10 days is a lot to ask for someone on a physical toll. Again, I'm a flat schlep, so again, I can't speak to cutting down to 30 pounds in 10 days. But I feel like that's gonna be he's gonna have even with the rehydration stuff, it's still gonna have a physical toll on him.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're not wrong, and that's the reason. Those are you keep proving my point. Like all these things that you're saying, it's like, man, like Volkanovski has a huge mountain to climb because he's going through a lot of adversity. Yes. To get here, to get to this fight, and to do this fight at such short notice.
Yeah.
And will he be able to do it? It's going to be hard. It's going to be super hard to be able to, get to that level. But I just think, and I really do think he has that dog in him because he's taking this fight, first of all.
I mean, dude, the way he fought against Yair, there was no question at that point. Because, like, bro, everyone is scared of those crazy kicks from Yair. So, like, that, again, that makes me want to glaze the Yair fight even more because that's how crazy that is. That's the only reason why I'm like, bro, like, if... Just that fight gives me hope for Islam. I'm sorry, Volk.
Volkanovski. Yeah. And on top of that, let's not also forget, Volkanovski was supposed to almost got choked out by
Ortega. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was his known I think his known submission that he's known.
Dude, he almost got Volkanovski twice. The man went to hell's door and came back twice. And won.
And came back, yeah. Right. So we really can't underestimate him because if for some reason he gets in those tough positions that Islam might put him in, I think he's going to be able to survive it.
I agree. And because now you've talked more your bullshit, I'm kind of want to change my pick now.
No.
But at the I'll say this. I think we both agree we think Islam will win. But if Volkanovski wins, you best believe we're going apeshit on the couch.
100%.
You best believe I'll be. Oh my god, bro! I probably will buy an Alexander Volkanovski shirt at that point. Shit.
So this is the way I think of it. My money says Islam, and my heart says Volkanovski.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to put it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like Islam for my heart and my money, but something about Volkanovski just doing something like this.
But you just seen his journey, bro. You saw all the things he had to go through, bro. Just those 3 Max Holloway fights alone, he had to go through just from fans' pressure, just being like, you to win those fights, to constantly proving after fight that here is levels to this shit. And there's me, the Volk, and there's everyone else. And somewhere in between is Max Holloway. But regardless, there's, you know what I mean? Like, and even then, Max couldn't get to that level either. So that's the crazy part of this, bro, is that like Volkanovski's so great, but that one fight with Islam, just Islam's level of improvement, how he exponentially improved from that last fight to this, from Bobby to Charles to Volk. It just showed a level of growth that's like almost unprecedented, right? So, just in that one aspect of his game, and it wasn't like, he was tremendously leveled up from a shitty striker to someone that knocked someone out with an overhand that he just got lucky throwing. You saw Islam be very picking with his strikes. If Islam's fearless on his end too, we have a problem. We have a problem in that point, bro, because we know that he can take Volkanovski shots, and Volk was taking Islam shots, but remember, we're talking about, an Islam that definitely is going to be rehydrated and, in homeland energy vibes to him. So I don't know, man. I agree with you. My heart definitely is for the Volk, bro. Because dude, I want to see him achieve that two champ greatness. But even if Islam wins, he says that if his next goal after the belt would be going up
welterweight.
I would not mind having that under his legacy. That'd be a crazy fight too. Because what if he's fighting against Colby Covington, bro? That'd be a fucking super fight of a lifetime. But hey, we got again. Leon Edwards ain't no joke, bro. The gentleman of death is still there, so don't worry. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like this, the excitement of either way how this fight goes. It's either like, okay, guess what? Boom, Volk is double champ. His first fight's gonna be against Justin Gaethje probably. fucking crazy.
Right.
That'd be a fucking crazy fight. Or then even that, his fight against Eli Topuria, that's just gonna be fucking fireworks, bro. That's what I'm saying. Volkanovski's gonna be fine regardless. Islam's gonna be fine regardless, which is what I'm happy with. That both these fighters are gonna be set regardless what happens. But bro, like,
Right.
the course of MMA history across 3 weight divisions are gonna change with the outcome of this fight potentially. That's the craziness. How monumental this fight is. Oh, by the way, it was made 10 days in 10 days notice. So.
Oh my god.
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. This is it's fucking crazy, bro. But yeah, Jason, do you have any more thoughts on this fight before we kind of touch on the co-main?
No, man. I'm just excited, and stay tuned for our reaction.
Damn, bro. I honestly wish back when we were talking about like, Brazilian straight parlay. I miss that shit, bro.
Oh my god.
Now we gotta go to the fucking Abu Dhabi parlay, bro, to get like $10 profit on all the wins. Great.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, but yeah, Jason, I honestly can't wait for the main event. It's gonna be crazy. Let's talk about this co-main, bro, because originally it was gonna be, what was it, Hamzat versus Super Secret Juice, and now, bro, I as much as I love Paulo Costa, man, and this time I don't blame him. That was a pretty nasty surgery stuff, but my God, bro, please wash your mats, guys. We don't need more staph infections fucking up our shit anymore. Holy shit, bro. Please, man. Because now we have a crazier, just as crazy, if not crazier fight with a crazy caveat to, right? We've got Hamzat Chimaev, right? The bane of 2 weight divisions, taking his stake now at 185. Bro, it's going to be against the former welterweight champ Kamaru Usman, bro. This itself is going to be a crazy fight. But before we preface any of this, guys, there was a video that came out recently, not even... When you guys see this, it's probably going to be about a day old when the video came out. But I showed Kamaru Usman at the open workout with Justin Gaethje, right? We didn't know exactly what was said, but a lot of us are hearing that his knee popped. Or he was telling Justin Gaethje that something is wrong with his knee. And I also heard from that because of everyone seeing that video, money's changing on that. I'm pretty sure some of the betting sites have closed lines on like Khamzat and Kamaru just because of how the betting lines have gone. Someone double check that and comment below if that's still true when you see the video, but I'm pretty sure that even if it's not true, regardless, that video's out there now of him like, saying that to Justin Gaethje, whatever he said. But even if he said like, "Oh, daffodils are great, Justin, let me get up." The way he got up, the way he grabbed his knee when he got up, looked like he was, Kamaru Upachin right now. Like, oh my God, bro. That I knew his knees were bad, but I'm like, bro, you're going up against a dude that literally will grab your knee and twist it 4 ways to Sunday before he gets to your hips. Like, holy shit. But yeah, Jason, bro, give me your thoughts on this matchup, the video, the whole thing, bro. Oh my God.
Let's just say when I saw that video, I got very, very, very nervous because I was excited. I'm super excited for the fight, but when you see those kind of videos of where they're just doing open workouts and you hear, from what I saw, it looked like, Kamaru threw Justin Gaethje to the ground doing some sort of takedown or some sort of wrestling move, and then as soon as he landed on top of him, he says something like, Justin Gaethje says, "Are you okay?" And then he says something about something knee popping or something like that. That is not what you want to hear when you're about to go against someone like
Khamzat
Chimaev, right? Because, bro, this guy is no joke. He has been on the rise in the UFC for some time now. He's been proving that he is a badass of a fighter, and he doesn't care about anyone or who he's fighting. All he wants to do is kill everybody.
Yeah.
If you know the saying.
Yes.
So for him to
that interview.
Oh, bro, I was like, what? Who is this guy? Who is it?
Whoa, this man is the Muslim Joker. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, literally, bro. I was like, what the?
Oh, bro. The Chechnyan Joker. The Chechnyan Joker right now. Oh, my God.
If anything, I was like, bro, I wonder what Kamaru's thinking right now. Like, yo, this guy's just making some weird-ass faces at me, like, while we're doing just a random interview.
He did the Kubrick stare, like, the Stanley Kubrick directors, that weird-ass shit, bro. Well, like Kubrick Chimaev right now, bro. Oh my God, dude. That's actually kind of. I was like, bro, this is kind of nuts the way he's. I mean, but that's the thing is, though, Hamzat is game for whatever, which is why I'm saying like we have once again a situation where it's like, bro, I'll be honest, Jason. Like originally, I thought Kamaru had a much nicer chance of winning this because, bro, if I gave you the lineup, bro, former champ, accolades on accolades, right? Was about to be considered was pretty much should be tied for the GOAT of welterweights, but was in the conversation for GOAT welterweights, bro. Similar situation with we saw with Islam or these other wrestler types. Improve the wrestling, learn their striking on the side. And when his striking was good, bro, towards the end of his title run, that shit was great, bro. The way he put down Gilbert Burns, the way he put down Colby, the way he put Jorge Masvidal's career down, bro. Like, holy shit, man. Like he definitely has hands, which I think would have been critical had he not busted up his knee. Again, let's hope we're all wrong that his knee's okay. He gets a steel knee within the next couple days or something like that. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Some of the gods of the knees give him a new knee overnight. I don't know. But, I mean, dude, Kamaru Usman had great clinch work, great wrestling. Basically, like a full round of fighter. Again, because of his rematch against Leon, a lot of us are not giving him his credit that he was due. But up until that Leon fight, both Leon fights, the last two of his Leon fights, right? Like, dude was a monster, bro. A monster. And again, I thought that fight was going to be a lot more competitive, but, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, like, come on, let's not forget, like, he was supposed to win that first Leon Edwards fight.
The second one.
The
second one, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, the second one.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let's be honest here. Kamaru was winning that fight all the way, and if it wasn't for that knockout came out of nowhere and shocked the whole world.
Yeah, still am shocked, to be honest.
And literally, yeah, right.
That's just still on TikTok and YouTube, bro. Holy fuck.
I know. Yes, go check it out if you guys haven't seen that. But he was, I would say, like the second person to be considered the welterweight GOAT under GSP.
Yeah,
I would say 100%.
Yeah.
And that's because he's literally fought everyone in the division for the most part in the top like 5 or 6. I mean, not top 5 or 6, the top 10. I think for most of the people he's fought, other than maybe like Bilal and people like that.
Yeah, like except for like a couple of people, like.
Couple people.
Yeah.
But the main people that were like the main known stars he's fought.
He was lapping them too. He was starting his lap as well, So like that's the craziness, bro. He was lapping and lost. Like he already won the first time.
Right.
So again, that's what I'm saying. Like Kamaru is had that video not come out, had all that happen, I feel like we would have a conversation of how close this fight would be. But we know like Khamzat, the dude doesn't care, bro. He can use you as soon as you touch gloves, mid glove touch, he'll grab your leg. Ask Kevin Holland, bro. Ask what happened to Kevin Holland, bro. Ash, in terms of hands, he's super strong, bro. Ask Gerald Murdershart, first round KO, bro. Insanity, bro. The only person that could make him bleed was Gilbert Burns, which again, for the sake of conversation, both of these fighters fought Gilbert Burns, right? And that was my point I wanted to bring before that fucking video with his knee came out, right? Gilbert is the nexus point for both these fighters. Who did better against Gilbert?
Yeah.
Kamaru.
Yeah.
Khamzat, literally, we thought it was a close fight, but, bro, by the end of that fight, we're all rooting for Gilbert. Even though Khamzat did enough, we were all rooting for Gilbert because we all thought this little Brazilian man made this dude bleed, and that was crazy. But guess who put down that little Brazilian warrior first? Kamaru Usman. And I'm pretty sure, like, bro, like, that was a crazy fight to see Kamaru do that because Gilbert was already on the rise too, right? Not that he still isn't good, he's still on the rise or anything like that, right? But, like, that Bilal fight really didn't do many favors, I'll say that. But that being said, though, that Gilbert was still on a tear, bro. He was still scary. His ground and pound was still next level. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was there. And Kamaru Usman dropped him not once but twice in their fight. And then when he put him down the second time, it was like game over, right? So we know Kamaru has exponential striking in his department. If he's going to put more pounds on it, that jab that he's been practicing with Trevor Whitman is going to get even better, especially with the more weight behind it, right? Maybe not the knees, but definitely the weight.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and I do want to preface something. This is me just kind of being devil's advocate for like a second, but let's be honest. When Gilbert Burns fought Kamaru Usman, I don't know if there was that much of a motivation as there was when he fought Khamzat, because let's not forget
they're friends.
Kamaru Usman and no, not just that too, but another thing. This is not like a big factor, but I think it is a factor in a way. When Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns fought, they fought in an empty arena with no one there to watch.
COVID, yeah, Apex stuff, yeah.
Right, and Gilbert and Kamzat, they fought in an arena with fans yelling and all that. So there has to be a little bit of a motivation there for when you're fighting in front of a bunch of fans.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're trying to entertain. But this one, the Kamaru Usman and Gilbert fight, Kamaru, I'm not trying to take anything away from Kamaru winning, but this is just me being devil's advocate. But Kamaru Usman and Gilbert it was more like a technical like match where Kamaru Usman, which is better.
I mean, it was
just better than Gilbert.
I mean, in that striking aspect, yeah, because we both knew it was going to be two wrestlers or two grapplers going in. Meaning, chances are, when two of these guys are grappling, they're probably going to be keeping up on the feet. And normally, you know, again with Hamzat though, again, I thought that could have been the case because I know that if Kamaru puts up a good wrestling defense earlier on, then Hamzat is going to have to like keep it on the feet and use some of the stuff he was on the feet. But again, Kamaru Usman is going to be like Gilbert, who plays with his foot. When Kamaru can reach you, if he can test his jab on you and he knows he can reach you, everything after that's to set up like a KO or to set up like a power right, power jab, everything like that, bro. And he's only gotten better. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be like a freaking Alex Pereira with his striking right now, right? Because of his training. Right. But I wanted to be note that he has his old coach, I think not Eric Nixick.
The one that the people that train at with Gilbert?
Yes. Oh, Henry Hoof. Yes, he brought in Henry Hoof again, and he has Trevor Whitman in his corner. Man was willing to be like, all right, bro, fuck, we got to get the Avengers in here of coaching and everything, bro. We have to bring in last season's characters to help this season. You know what I'm saying, Chief? Like, bro, and that's honestly, I hope those coaches work together, but I can tell that corner is going to be Trevor Whitman. Like, you're doing great. And then, the coach being like, Kamaru, here's what you got to do, I'm looking forward to seeing how that corner works. First off, that corner works to be crazy. Because you know what, even whatever happens, Kamaru Usman gets put to sleep, Trevor Whitman. Every time.
He's so happy.
my homies, my fighters in the Shadow Realm.
Let's go.
Oh, put to sleep unconscious?
Oh,
you're just like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I can't wait for Henry Hoof just to, because Henry's at I think more of a presence with his fighters. But we'll see. We'll see how that. That's just a side note, guys. That's just more MMA lore. MMA lore episode. But I think we can talk more about Hamzat now, bro. We know that this dude's so scary. Except when Gilbert fought him. Every time he's fought, it's been fucking insane, bro. Like, he's out here. He's a wild animal with his grappling, too. He's not afraid to... It doesn't look technical when he did against Kevin Holland, but the way he was so good at positioning himself during those crazy wrestling scrambles against a BJJ guy like Kevin Holland, like, it was wild to see him adjust accordingly, bro. It was also crazy, again, to see, like, against his KO against Cheryl Mershard. Like, this dude's been on a rise. So, what's crazy that is Kamaru Usman's going to be would have been a very good opponent before that video, right? Because Kamaru Usman has the accolades, the skills, and a sort of a game plan to where Hamzat would want to go as the wrestler who got his bearings and striking as well, right? We know that Hamzat has the power. But once again, like I'm saying, that video creates such a huge can of worms for us to talk about this whole thing. But at the same time, it's something we have to bring up. But yeah, bro, honestly, if that video hadn't come out, I think originally I thought Kamaru would have been able to get this done before that video. Because I think if, again, like, Kamaru Usman has all the skills he needs to beat a guy like Hamzat, bro. He has been, again, like, I think this would have been a lot closer a fight than we would be hoping for. Again, it could still be. For all we know, by the time Saturday rolls around, it'd be Kamaru Usman's, KOs Hamzat for all we know, right? That'd be crazy. Watch it be like a head kick KO Kamaru to Hamzat. Hilarious if that were to happen, right? That would be crazy. But I don't know, bro, if that would happen. But Jason, bro, give me your just thoughts on the greatness that Hamzat has brought so far.
Dude, the thing about this man is that he's a madman.
Yeah.
He is a madman. He does not give a crap who he's fighting. He gives zero crap shit about who his opponent is, how he's gonna fight him. He never, like, his mannerisms and how he acts, like, it's, bro, like, let's not forget, this man is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be making faces like this at your opponent, like, trying to murder them, like, dude, and like you've mentioned, that Gilbert fight was a real test for him, but at the same time, he proved that he did enough to win the fight. And all of his other fights before that, Li Jingling, I don't think I said that right.
Li Jingying, yeah, you said it right. Oh. Yeah, good job, Jason.
Oh, but like, bro, he ragdolled him. Yeah. He literally grabbed him and took him to Dana White. Was like, look, watch this, bro. And he's like talking to him.
Crazy.
And that comes because of his confidence and how good he is at what he does.
Yeah.
His wrestling, his striking is at very, very well. And like you mentioned, if this video didn't come out, I would say this is a 50-50 match.
Yeah, for real.
But with that video coming out, and if Khamzat sees that video, he probably did see that video.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if he, in the first round, he only throws leg kicks to his knees. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. And the moment Kamaru tries to grab it, boom, we have a clinch exchange, and boom. Yeah.
Right. And like if I were him, I would do the same. I'd be like, oh, your knee's fucked. I'm gonna target that motherfucker all day.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I'm doing that all night.
100%. Damn.
And it sucks. It sucks that video came out.
Oh.
And like I said, I really thought it was going to be... I was aiming for a 50-50 fight, yeah. But at the same time, Khamzat's... Bro, forget the 50-50 thing. Khamzat is a dangerous man, bro. He comes in there to do vicious damage to people.
100%.
Like, every time we've seen him fight, it's knockouts, submissions. It's not the only decision was Gilbert, but that just shows how good.
But
Gilbert
it wasn't
is
like
too.
a playful decision. It wasn't like, oh, it was
a
so boring,
war.
or we couldn't score. No, bro, it was like, yo, everybody bleeding, bro. Everyone throwing punches. Who do we score this, bro? Holy shit! Honestly, I definitely want to rewatch that fight again, just cause I mean, that just showed like more of Khamzat than anyone else right now, right? Because that wouldn't age as well at this point. So,
right, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so if anything, it'll be interesting to see what. Let's just pretend that. Let's hope that Kamaru's knee is fine and it's not anything too serious. Right. This fight should be a very, very interesting fight. Are they going to keep it on the feet? Or are they going to go for the wrestling?
But conventional knowledge would say, like we said, two grapplers.
They probably stay on the feet.
Normally, but this is Khamzat, bro.
Yeah.
Khamzat is crazy like that, bro. Like he wasn't afraid to grapple with anyone he was go up against. He wasn't afraid to grapple with Gilbert until he only was forced to go on more standing in the feet just because Gilbert was neutralizing everything and saw the pattern.
The wrestling defense.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, like Khamzat doesn't have to cut as much weight like he did. He doesn't have to cut to 170, bro. This is 185. Not a 10-pound difference, a 15-pound difference, bro. And again, like that was his last fight was there regardless too. And Khamzat trained super hard. I don't know, man. They maybe technically 50-50, but even then, like I'm still thinking even before the video, Khamzat, I probably may have leaned. I don't know. I want to lean Kamaru, but I don't know, man. The more we talk about just how scary Khamzat is, honestly, Kamaru has to be the most fearless man alive and in the universe to face a guy like Khamzat in this short, not just face him, but on short notice like this too. So honestly, I hope the gods are with them to conquer this giant. Because holy shit, bro.
Yeah, no, and that's another factor that we didn't even talk about. This is also a short notice fight for Kamaru, so there is that factor in this fight too. We don't know if he's been training this before that. Does he have enough preparation to even go against someone like this? Because you got to give this guy respect, and it's not going to be easy for him to just have a 10-day notice fight and go and fight Khamzat Chimaev,
right,
who has showed dominance in all of his fights. And if I'm being honest, Kamaru has also a very tall mountain to climb in a way, because there's this potential knee entry. There's having to come all the way to Abu Dhabi short notice. The only pluses I would really say is Kamaru Usman is also a really big guy, and there shouldn't be I would say Kamaru Usman was pretty big for 170.
Yeah, 100%.
And at the same time, Khamzat was also pretty big for 170 when he fought there.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I really think it's an even fight just off of like size and being able to manage, I guess, each other's strength.
Yeah.
Because they're a little bit more equally. It's a little bit more equal match when it comes to strength, I would say.
Yeah.
But with the knee, with the short notice, and the opponent, bro, it's gonna be a hard mountain for Kamaru to fight, especially with someone like Khamzat.
I agree, bro. Like, oh man, excuse me, bro. I think we can go into predictions. I think, bro, if it wasn't the video, I wanted to say Kamaru just because of his experience. But like, dude, that video really Okay, if anything, it just reminds of how bad his knees are. Because even if his knees weren't fucked, the way he stand back up, I'm like, bro, I felt like you added 10 years to your life trying to get up right there, bro. Like, oh, like I feel like you just I'm like lost that shit. Like, you know, I literally felt your knee apply for Social Security. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, oh shit.
Oh my god.
That's just like as soon as he got up, it's like, yep, time to consider retirement. Like, 401k needs to come out right now to give me this 401 knee. Holy shit, bro. Like, dude, I don't know. I hope this isn't like, you know, the downfall, the epilogue of Kamaru Usman we're talking about. Because, oh my god, if he knocks out Hamzat, then boom, he gets a title shot. That's another thing I want to talk about, Jason. I'm pretty sure we both kind of agree that Hamzat's gonna win. But just before I get to the next point about the championship part of it, who do you think's gonna win this fight?
I'm gonna have to lean with Kamza, man. I mean, It's just with the video and everything. It's gonna be hard to kind of really, and especially, I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I've heard Kamaru say that it would hurt really bad for him to walk upstairs.
Yeah, he walks backwards down the stairs apparently,
or something like that. Yeah. So when you got someone who has those kind of knees problems, bro, it's really hard to pick for them. So
yeah.
I gotta go with Kamzat.
Yeah, Jason, I 100% agree. Hamzat, even before then, again, like I think Kamaru would have a better chance to win without this knee thing happening. Like I said, with the experience, but the way, you know, Kamzat operates, the way, you know, he's so aggressive no matter what fighter comes in front of him, and especially if Kamaru is somewhat compromised, then boo, it's just a nail in the coffin for Kamaru Usman, bro. I mean, and I want to kind of transition over because Kamaru Usman is a former champ, right? Which kind of I think would be the justification for why the result of this fight's happening. But Jason, as we know, the result of this fight, again, this wasn't when this Paulo Costa versus Hamza was thing, this wasn't an option. Without Kamaru Usman being the opponent, right? The winner of this fight is going to be next to fight for the title, bro. Craziness, bro. Absolute madness. They're going to be fighting Sean Strickland next, bro. That is crazy. My question is, bro, what are your thoughts? Do you think that was an appropriate outcome for these fighters for that to happen? Do you think, regardless if either fighters really deserve the title shot for what happens, do you think that the UFC was right for you in making this fight for a title, a path to a title? Give me your thoughts, bro.
I actually think that this is an okay thing to do, because you know technically Israel should be getting the rematch. But at the same time, Israel has also said he's going to be taking a long break.
Yeah.
So we would need someone to go for the title next. And this makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a good thing that they did it, that when Kamaru was involved in the fight, I think it was a good idea for them to do it. One of the reasons being, Kamaru and Sean Strickland have fought before.
Yeah.
They fought at 170.
Yeah.
So
that would be
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy rematch, yeah.
Right. So I think it makes perfect sense that they did that, and I think the reason they did that is because they are hoping that if Kamaru wins, it would be just a good build up for that second fight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Kamzat and Sean Strickland was also a really good fight. So
that'd be
I think it's a good
fight.
yeah. I think it's a good option a good idea that they did that, and I'm glad that they did that, but. I don't know, bro. It's gonna be interesting how this goes, but yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. Like like we said, like both outcomes would be crazy. A rematch for, you know, Kamaru, or a title shot for Hamzat. And bro, like if you're Hamzat and you see, you know, the Sean Strickland who never really wrestles, you're probably like
easy.
Yeah, buddy.
That's what he's gonna
say.
Like,
I'm hungry, the wolf's trying to eat type shit, you know what I mean? So like, dude, craziness, bro. I think for me, I felt like I don't want to say it degrades the division a little bit, but it just makes it seem like, okay, if you want a better chance of the belt, do something fuck shit at middleweight. You know what I mean? And it sucks because like I don't feel, again, only reason why I would say it's warranted is like you said, Kamaru is a former champ, but it wasn't like it's a former champ who's coming up a weight division who vacated the belt. Is a former champ who lost his rematch, right? So I don't see what Kamaru, again, like, yeah, he has the championship pedigree. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter by any means, guys. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying Hamzat doesn't really bring that belt to the table. Again, he was fighting Paula to get a chance potentially to fight someone for the title, or to fight someone who's up next potentially for the title or contender, right? you have someone like like Kamaru who hasn't been tested at 185. So for me, it just felt like it's cool. It makes a good marketing, I guess, for why you need to watch this fight to see who's next to fight Sean Strickland. But like you said, besides that rematch part of it with Kamaru, it doesn't really make sense because Kamaru's coming off a loss, and for Hamzat, I mean, it doesn't make sense either because he hasn't fought. He doesn't really. Who has he fought at 185? That's that's really that would lead him for a chance to even be worthy in that conversation. Not to saying Hamzat would or isn't worthy. That's not my call to make. But I'm just saying in terms of what the belt represents to the division, because again we've had many issues where it's like the right guys that should be going for the title never get it. That's why we have the instances where it's like, okay, like the 6 times that Tony Ferguson and Khabib never fought. You have these kind of instances, right, where it's like some of the fighters that feel like they should be up for the title aren't. Problem is again that with middleweight that Izzy's cleaned the division twice now, where it's like there has that problem. But again, there's guys like Cannonier, there's guys like Whitaker, there's a lot of people out there that I think that since Izzy's gone, that they probably would have. Okay, maybe not Robert Whitaker because it was lost to, Dricus. But Dricus is there as well, too, right? Like, I feel like you've already had a lot of claims at middleweight, and now all of a sudden that's gone. I don't know. For me, it just felt like that. It doesn't degrade the middleweight division, but it doesn't make me take it as seriously as I want to. That being said, Sean Strickland is the champ. So if whatever seriousness you had in terms of, it's Sean who's in there, right? But regardless, that belt, I think, should have more of a weight to it. Because we say the lightweight division is the most deadliest division in the UFC, and that belt represents that. For me, the middleweight represented having above me is the best in the division, and Izzy was there for so long. You have to find opponents for me that, in my opinion, that are enticing for me to watch for Sean Strickland. And not that those two fighters aren't, but it's like you got to have someone that's also tested the middleweight division, right? That's why that Paulo fight was so important. But again, you have two fighters that can go either middleweight or welterweight now fighting for a chance to be the middleweight champ. I don't know, man. Again, most of the exciting fights for both these fighters were at welterweight. That's just me talking out loud. I'm not saying it's who deserves what. I'm just saying if I was a middleweight fighter and you're sitting there like, oh, bro, I'm way ranked. Kamaru isn't even ranked in our division. And Hamzat, he's up there, but like he's fighting someone that's outside the division. Like, why does this get a number one? Why does this get a title?
Right.
It's the same kind of logic where Islam and Bobby Green fought. They're technically both lightweights, but it was a catchweight fight. But that fight led to title implications for Islam. So it's like, I'm kind of confused a little bit in that aspect. But please, give me your thoughts.
I actually would agree with you on that a little bit after you explained that. I think what they should have done for this was probably say that if Kamaru wins, he gets to go for the title, but not for Khamzat.
But then, I would. But why would you then be Khamzat? Why would you even want to make that fight then at that point? Why would you even want to fight?
Yeah, that's true.
But again, we're in a pickle.
It's a hard. Yeah, it is a weird situation, and you're kind of right. It does degrade the middleweight division because you're bringing in someone that doesn't fight at this weight, mm-hmm. when there's people waiting in line to fight for the title already. Like, we've got so many people that can fight Sean Strickland. There's people that even have beat Sean Strickland that are waiting to fight him.
Exactly.
So in a way, you're right. It does kind of degrade it a little bit because you're not giving the opportunity to actually 185 pounders, but you're bringing in these two welterweights in a way because let's not forget Khamzat is also kind of a welterweight.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think Khamzat is ranked in the middleweight division.
I think you're right. That's the crazy part. I think you're actually right. His fight with Paulo. I think his fight with Paulo was supposed to be for him to get a ranking, which is again like I think that the only explanation would be that every Sean Strickland's other matchups in the middleweight are so boring or so unmarketable that they're like we have to do this. But I don't think that's true. You can definitely market Whitaker, Cannonier, Costa. There's a lot of fighters you can market in the middleweight division. It's just that since Israel Adesanya is so good, that he created a problem where none of us really want to see any of these other fights because Israel's lapped them already.
Right.
So.
Right.
Again, that being said, there's still what's the point of having rankings and fighting for your rankings or going in these fights if you don't do it for the belt? I'm not trying to create bad sentiment within the UFC. I'm just saying, bro, if I was a fighter, I'd be like, again, it's different if you said no to taking on Khamzat, But if you said yes and then this happened and it's a different matchup, again, you lost to marketing because that is an exciting fight, Kamaru versus, Hamzat. And it is, again, it sounds even better. Like, okay, when winner this goes for the title. But again, it just means that as a middleweight, you lost to marketing or that you didn't market yourself better enough. But again, I'm not saying I don't agree that, this kind of sucks for you. It's just that, like, it also sucks that you didn't, couldn't market it. Also, where's Kevin Gastelum in this too? I thought Kevin Gastelum would have stepped up too. That would have been a crazy fight too. But
he's actually he's going down to welterweight, but he's actually
you're right.
Number 10 in the middleweight division. So, and the thing is, it's now that I looked at the rankings. Yeah, they both are not even ranked at all in the middleweight division, so it doesn't really.
Again, the only way I would justify it is if
sense.
Kamaru was a champ coming in who vacated the belt like John Jones did, right?
Right.
And then this is the fight, and then then sure,
right,
fine, give it to Khamzat too. That's an exciting thing, but it just feels that like it's a little bit underscored at this point. I don't know, man. That's just what I think a little bit about it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, for me, what it sounds like happened here was to give some extra motivation to Kamaru for Kamaru to take this fight. This is basically the next for the title fight. Kind of implications were probably mentioned.
But then you're better off giving it to Gastelum.
Could have been motivation.
You're better off giving it to Gastelum at that point, who's actually ranked,
but,
or again up the rankings. If you like we said, Israel Adesanya, all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I don't know if, because I'm pretty sure Gastelum is trying to go down to 170, so I'm pretty sure he's trying to lose weight and prepare for that.
Which is fair in that case. But then,
I don't know. I'm
saying, why didn't Dricus put his name in there too, right? Like, why didn't, so many of those fighters, if Dricus said no, then I'm like, bro, then I think you kind of suck then, bro. I honestly, I would go to say is that Rob Whittaker fight would be a fluke, but I can't. Right. But I'm implying it really heavily if he said no. That's all I'm saying.
So I actually think there definitely is a huge marketing aspect into this.
That's the only way it makes sense.
Because Kamaru and Khamzat have been wanting to fight for a little bit. Like, they've been kind of talking, I think, on Twitter and stuff too. Like, there's some shit talking going on, and I really think that's where I'm pretty sure that's where this stemmed from. Because other than that, it really wouldn't make any sense for them to make this matchup. Like, if there was no marketing aspect involved in this fight doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
For title implications.
It doesn't even make sense. That's what I'm saying. Even if you take the title implications, the marketing, it's an exciting fight objectively. But
sure, but it doesn't make it is kind of it's weird for the middleweight division. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the only again, even regardless, take out the belt, it's still weird. But I would have ride with it. I still ride for this fight. But again, I'm riding being like, all right, bro, I'm looking kind of behind me, around me. I'm not really like fully confident in this. Because again, like I'm saying, like if Hamzat wins, again, sure, either way, if you win, it just feels like, okay, Kamaru coming off a loss, somehow beats Hamzat and then gets a title shot. Okay, cool. Hamzat beats an opponent who's busted up already coming into this fight on technically a losing streak. He fought a guy with 2 losses back to back, gives him a 3rd loss, then gets a title shot. Make it make sense. It doesn't. But hey, I'm the UFC. I'm trying to save a pay-per-view. As I'm saying, it doesn't make sense. But I'm talking about it. I still think it kind of sucks. But I'm accepting, given that it's a 10 days notice fight. That's the only reason why it really makes sense. And if you're thinking on 10 days notice, Kamaru Usman takes on this fight, the marketing for itself. I think that it did enough marketing where it's like, okay, Kamaru Usman stepped up. He saved the fight. He saved the card. That should be enough. It's a crazy fight, and then you imply later, like, okay, Kamaru Usman can now make his name stake for bigger names in that division, right? I would be like, okay, bro, give me that Paula next, give me Jared Cannonier, all that. Again, like if I was Kamaru, but no, again, like you said, like it incentivizes them to take that fight if they're like throw a title bone on there too, but it doesn't make sense if you go past that point.
Yeah, and I think the whole reason for that was the UFC's leading more towards Kamaru winning this fight, because let's not forget he's getting up there in age too.
Yeah.
And at this point he's just trying to do whatever he can to either get some sort of another belt or just take on exciting fights. So
or at least pay for that knee replacements, the double knee replacements, please.
Yeah,
dude, give him that Conor McGregor cybernetic metal knees, bro. Dude, I want him to pull a Jorge Masvidal when he bunks another dude in the head. You hear a doing, like a bonk instead of a thud. You hear like a freaking metal sheen sound. Oh man, but I mean, dude, come on. At this point, I feel like if win, lose or draw, Kamaru Usman, bro, get some surgery, dog, please. Like, because honestly, I would also be. It sucks, but if Kamaru somehow wins, I would be content with just retiring. Because, like, bro, like, you're at a certain point, like, if you somehow make it and you feel like your knees are still okay, then by all means, you can keep fighting. But I just feel like there's this. I mean, at a certain point, though, like, again, I'm not saying like, he has to, like, I feel like Kamaru would have to knock out, comes off from him, like, yeah, I'm still good. I'm walking down the middleweight division now. Like, I'm good.
I think if Kamaru wins this, I wouldn't retire immediately. I would probably go for that belt.
I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, okay, win, lose or draw, like, bro, like, it's just
yeah.
Again, like, okay, take that chance for the title. Sure, I should preface that. Take that chance for the title too. But even then, it's just like, if you feel like, bro, you come out that comes off fight with like a really busted up, and you're just like, bro, I won, but like, at what cost? Like, I don't know. I feel like your knees are just, saying one thing and your mind is another at this point. But
right,
I don't know, man. Yeah. But Jason, do you have any more final thoughts on this matchup, bro?
I'm just excited, man, and I really hope the knee isn't a big factor as we've been talking about. So let's hope it's not as big of a thing.
I agree, bro. I agree. So, guys, you got our thoughts on the UFC co-main event, bro, with Kamaru stepping up to the plate to fight against Khamzat Chimaev for a chance to fight Sean Strickland for the title, but also, more importantly, surprisingly, but more importantly, right, Alexander Volkanovski fighting Islam Makhachev for the second time on 10 days short notice for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Is Islam going to do it once again and defeat Alexander Volkanovski more decisively, or will Volkanovski do the impossible, which only has been done by one other man before, unify the featherweight and lightweight belts to become another man to get double champ status? Holy shit, Jason. This main event could shake up 3 weight divisions, bro. I can't wait to see how this goes. Do you have any more thoughts before I close up the show, bro?
Stay tuned for the reactions,
y'all. Yeah, for sure, bro. Stay tuned for our reactions. They're going to be on TikTok. Stay hyped, bro. And I don't know what parlays y'all doing, what bets you're doing, but let's just say I think it's going to be an exciting night of fights in the desert of Abu Dhabi, bro. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane, bro. Guys, I can't wait to get up with y'all to see this pay-per-views earlier in the day. Don't forget the pay-per-views early. So I know you UK guys you'll have to get up early too. We get a little bit more afternoon for us boys, so we get a little bit afternoon for some lunchtime. But even so, it's early for us. I can't forget. Set your alarm clocks, everyone. We have a fucking super fights in the Middle East, bro. Abu Dhabi, can't wait. I'm your host, George, with my co-host here,
Jason.
Y'all have a good one. Peace, and I hope y'all make some money. But if not, good luck and enjoy the fights.